Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we will chant the first 5 verses of chapter 7, please.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya Saktamanah Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathajñāsyasi tachrunu Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshatah yajñātvā neha bhūyonyat jñātavyam avashishyate manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidhyatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatvatah bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yam me bhinna prakritirashtadha apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yadedam dharyate jagat.
Before we begin, I'd like to know how many of you are here for the first time. Thank you. The reason I'm asking is we should know why we have assembled here. I believe you understand we are studying a scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. But why the Bhagavad Gita? What's so important about the study? Do we need this? For whatever reason you found your way here, but we will do well if we understand the purpose of this exercise and know for ourselves whether it's important for us to do this. I know you have come with some faith that this must be something good, but more than good, it is something that is critical for human existence, for human life. And the reason is this. We are all human beings, we understand that, but do we know what is the purpose of this existence? Why are we born human beings? What do we have to achieve? When I say that, each one is born into this world. You come to a stage in life where you are now. You've done a lot of things this day backward. And you stand here now in the course of your life, and you don't know how long that is. In other words, we all have a brief sojourn here in this world. And that every human born must go one day. And when we go, we take nothing. Whatever you have earned, your name, your fame, your wealth, your family, your friends, you take nothing with you. The only thing that we can ever keep with us, that stays with us, is one of two: knowledge or ignorance. Whatever you choose to gather in this lifetime. Now that question must arise: what have I done to gain knowledge? Knowledge not of medicine or engineering or business or finance. We're not talking about that knowledge. We're talking about knowledge of the truth, the reality, that only a human is designed to investigate. Some of you may say, I don't believe in this. Some of you may say, I think it makes sense. Irrespective of whether you believe or not, you all must understand that there is something beyond our immediate, routine, mundane existence, something within us. That is the truth, that is the reality. And if we do not choose to discover that, to know that, you could be anybody in this world. In fact, you can go all the way and gain glories in the world. You could be an achiever. You could be the richest man, or the most powerful person, or the most knowledgeable person. Whatever be your worldly achievements, there is no assurance that you will be satisfied. It's not for me to say it, it's not for anyone to judge what is going on in people's life, but please investigate, find out for yourself. Have you found somebody who is peaceful, who is satisfied? See, as I'm saying it, I'm sure some of you may say, look, I'm quite satisfied in life. I have no complaints. You know, if I were to ask each one, how's life with you? You would say, probably you'll turn around and say, well, by God's grace, I'm fine. I'm okay. Of course, we don't get everything, but we're okay. But if only I get this organized in my life, if I could only set this right in my life, it's bothering me. I don't have anything to complain. But if I set this right, then I will be completely happy. Now, each one has that something to attend to, and you have the firm belief that if I set that right, everything will be okay. I know it will be okay. You say that. Until you get there. The moment you get there, you'll find it recedes again. And it recedes. You never seem to get a hold of that one thing called satisfaction, happiness, peace, joy, cheer, whatever you may call it. And that something is our real nature. To be peaceful, to be joyful, to be content. And until you find that contentment within yourself, you're not going to stop looking for something in the world. It's not just the Bhagavad Gita that tells us that. There are many Western thinkers who say the same thing. So you've heard of Samuel Johnson? Samuel Johnson, does anybody know what he was famous for? Yes, no? Samuel Johnson? Not heard of Samuel Johnson? The person who gave us the first dictionary. Samuel Johnson. So let's see what he had to say. He says, I don't know if you can read it, but I'll read it out for you. The fountain of content must spring up in the mind. And he who had so little knowledge of human nature as to seek happiness by changing anything but his own disposition will waste his life in fruitless efforts and multiply the grief he proposes to remove. So if you change anything in the world to find happiness, ultimately you'll not be happy. The only thing that you need to change is your own mind, your own disposition. If you do that, no matter what the world offers you, you'll be at peace. That is what Mahatma Gandhi said. He said, to find Shanti in Shanti, any fool can do it. Suppose you go on a holiday and say, oh, it was so peaceful, it was so blissful. Anybody can find that. If you found it. Usually not. You say you found happiness in the holiday. You had a series of problems. especially if you have to pay the bills. Nobody likes that. It's okay to say. When you come back, you tell your neighbors, they'll ask you, so how was your trip? Oh, wonderful trip. You and your husband know what happened. How many fights you had, how many arguments you had. You cover it all up and tell them, we had a wonderful trip. So, not everybody really enjoys, though you hope to enjoy. It's not that you really have enjoyed. So, to find shanti, in peaceful circumstances, you go to a place of worship and say it's so peaceful, or go to a quiet place and say it's peaceful. Anybody can find that. Anybody can do that. Said any fool can do it. But the dignity of a human being is to learn to find shanti in ashanti. Even in disturbing circumstances, a human is designed to find peace. But how do you do it? Not by changing the world. That's what he's saying. You got to find that peace within yourself. Once you do that, you can be placed in the best of circumstances. You can be placed in the worst of circumstances. You maintain that peace within you. And that's something every human can achieve. But we don't, because we don't know how. We don't know where to get started. So this knowledge tells you that your true worth, your real nature is to be peaceful and blissful. If you step out of that and try and find peace in the world, which you do, when I say that, of a temporary nature. I know some of you, like I said, would say, I'm happy, I'm okay. But let's examine the happiness that you have found. Let's say, it's not that all of you are miserable people and that's why you came for Bhagavad Gita lecture. It's not that. You have your own set of joys and pleasures and happiness, whatever you're experiencing in the world up until now. But if you examine what you are experiencing in happiness, it is dependent upon something outside of you. So you say, I'm happy. Why? I have a lovely family. What a lovely family. If I think of my family, I'm so peaceful. Or I have a good business, excellent business. Everything is going fine. So I'm very happy. My profession or my work is so satisfying. I found something to do which engages me so well. I'm very happy. So you would say, in other words, please examine it. Think for a moment. When you say I'm happy, why are you happy? Because you found that happiness in something outside of you. So what's wrong with that? I found some happiness. Let me have it. The problem with finding happiness in something outside of you is that it's not guaranteed. In other words, should something happen to any member in your family, you're finished. You'll be depressed. Should something go wrong with your business, you go down. You're unhappy. And that eats you up. Nobody can change that. Nobody can console you. No, even if people try to tell you, hey, look, be satisfied with so many other things that you got. No, it's not important. I want this to be done. I want this to be settled. Otherwise, I can't find my happiness. You're miserable. You may have so many other things to make you happy, but that one thing missing will make you miserable. This is the problem with finding happiness in something or somebody outside of you. And everybody's doing it. That is why nobody is fully satisfied. You're happy up to a point. If something goes wrong, that's why they say mood swings. What is that mood swings? Why should you swing with your mood? You remain where you are. One moment you're cheerful. Hi, hello everybody, everything is nice. Next moment you're down in the dumps. You can't even smile. See, that's why people are trying to help such people. What do? They have laughing clubs. You got to do that. Imagine if you all try to do that. And they have different names. Flying laugh, chain laugh, this laugh, that laugh, squeezing laughter out of you. How long does it last? As long as you are in the club. The moment you're out of that, again the droop comes. Again you're unhappy. We're trying desperately to be happy externally, artificially. It'll never work. What are we trying to do here? We are trying to discover who you essentially are. What is your true worth? That's everyone. What are you worth? What is each one worth? What is your real personality? Do you know? See, we know our outer personality. This body. Every time you look in the mirror, you say, this is me, this is me. This is your body. This is not you. Just your outer personality. Then you say, yes, maybe this is not everything, but this is the most assuring aspect of your personality. Because you must look at the mirror, and then you say, this is me, height, weight, this person, this name. When you go inward, you understand you have something within you, which is your inner personality. Your mind and your intellect put together is your inner personality. The body is just your outer personality. And it doesn't matter what your body is, but what are you within? That's you. Because you're dealing with that aspect day in and day out, from birth to death. What is that inner personality? Your mind and your intellect. What is the mind? What is the intellect? See, these are the basics. Because I saw many hands going up, I'm explaining these basics. You must know what you are made up of. Because if you don't know what you're made up of, you don't know how to use your personality in life. It's like when you buy a gadget, a new gadget, you go to a shop, you buy a gadget. Now you want to use that gadget, whatever that is. What would you look for to use the gadget? Anybody? Manual. You will want an instructions manual, first of all, to understand what is this gadget, what all can it do, what are its features, how to use it fully, how not to misuse it, abuse it, how to keep it in good condition. All those instructions are given. So then you can use that gadget fully, completely. Now when you come to the human personality, what is that manual that explains to us who we are? You're simply born into this world. You grow into a young person. You watch others. You're tutored by your parents at home and teachers in your educational institutions, your friends, your peers. This is how you learn about yourself. But there is no proper manual that tells you, look, this is who you are. That is where the Bhagavad Gita comes in. I'm giving you all the reasons why we need to study. I told you it's critical. You need to know this, whatever the knowledge is, just to live your life as a human completely. Otherwise, whatever life you are living, it's not that you're not living. You are existing in this world. You're living in this world. You're achieving things in this world. A whole lot of things you're doing in this world. But is it a complete life? Do you understand the purpose of why you are born into this world? What is it that you have to achieve in this world? What is it that you will gain when you have the knowledge of the truth? What is the truth of human life? Because everything else is passing. Everything else is impermanent. The best of things, the worst of things. Everything is impermanent. But what will stay with you is the truth, the reality. That is what you have to find out. So the manual for existence is the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, the Vedanta philosophy, which you will find in the Bhagavad Gita. So it talks about your personality, that you have an outer personality, which is your physical body, and you have an inner personality, which is constituted of your mind and your intellect. So what is the mind? The mind in you is nothing but the sum total of all your feelings, your emotions, your impulses, your likes and dislikes, your wishes, your wants, your desires, your demands, all that put together. I'm just mentioning a few, but you could ask for anything, anywhere, anyhow. You can't say, why do you ask that? That's my mind. That's how I feel. Who can tell you anything? Because that's the way you feel. So that something which feels is your mind. But you must understand, even an animal has the feelings. They also have impulses. They have their preferences too. But an animal's life is preset. It has impulses, but its actions and life is preset. They tread a beaten path. They have no choices in life. Meaning, a carnivore is born a carnivore. It will live a life of a carnivore. It will die a carnivore. It cannot change. All set. A herbivore is born a herbivore. It will live the life of a herbivore. It will die a herbivore. No change. No choices. It cannot switch. A herbivore cannot become a carnivore. A carnivore cannot become a herbivore. A fish will not fly, cannot fly. A bird cannot swim. And it will not even try. Because it knows it cannot do that. But look at the life of a human being. A human being can eat, live on vegetation. A human being can live on meat of animals and other living creatures. A human being is capable of eating another human being. It's possible. Look at the choices a human being has. A human being can choose to fly. A human being, he will challenge nature. That's the human brain. That's the human mind. Even you're not meant to fly, you'll try. You're not meant to swim, you'll swim. You'll do all sorts of things because you can. That is the life of a human. And you have so much freedom to do so many things that no other creature has, and yet humans are most miserable. Paradox. Why? When we have all the freedom, when we are capable of doing so much, why is it? Because we have not gone beyond the outer and inner person. So I said, you have a mind. You have a mind, but superior to the mind is another equipment that is hardly understood in the world today, and that is the human intellect. The human intellect is something that is unique only to the human race. No other creature has this ability to think, to reason, to judge, to understand, to comprehend. Not only what is known in the terrestrial world, but to project things that are unknown, beyond the world. That is the capacity of a human being. And science will take us beyond the known into the unknown realms, but pertaining to this world only, to this universe. When it comes to philosophy, when it comes to these scriptures, they tell us, look, beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond this known universe, beyond even the unknown aspects of this universe that science is still discovering and will continue to discover. They'll never stop. Science can never stop its discoveries. Beyond all that a science can do, there is something which is the truth, the reality, and that something which is the truth, which is the reality, is right within you. Beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intellect, beyond your outer and inner personalities lies your real personality. That is why even a devotee of God who goes to a mandir, you go all the way to the mandir, go by bus, all sorts, especially when you have to go to Tirupati or I don't know where you go. you go to different parts of India, going to famous shrines. With all devotion, you go to the shrine, to the temple, to the mandir, to pray. And when you stand right before the deity, what do? Huh? Close your eyes. You're standing before the deity, open and see. No, a true devotee will never keep the eyes open. Immediately you close and put your head down. Why? It's symbolic. What you're seeking is not there. It is right within you. Now here is a method to find out how to discover the truth within you. So with these discussions that we will go through, we will try and find that truth within us. So what you see on the screen here is the summary of the chapter. The chapter is Jnana Vijnana Yoga, chapter 7, which means the yoga of knowledge and wisdom. Jnana, knowledge, Vijnana, wisdom. And the summary is not something you will find in the original Bhagavad Gita. This is part of the research done by Swamiji, who is my father and guru to many of us. Thanks to his work, lifetime work, he's made it very simple for us to follow the flow of thought in the chapter. Because if you pick up the Bhagavad Gita, it's a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Sometimes Lord Krishna starts the chapter, sometimes Arjuna asks a question, and we don't understand what is the sequence. What are they really trying to tell us? So with this summary of the chapter into topics, it's very clear how the chapter will flow. So the first topic that we are going to take up today is talking about two aspects of Brahman or God. Now these are all synonyms, whether you use the word Brahman, God, Atman, the self in you, the God principle in you, the real personality, the truth, whatever word you want to use. These are only synonyms indicating that something that we don't know, but is right within us. Not only within us, that same truth is splashed everywhere in this world. When we say that, how many things are functioning beyond our control? The sun rises every morning, sets every evening. Who's controlling it? There's oxygen supply. Who is supplying oxygen? There's an atmospheric pressure. Who's controlling that? There's millions and trillions of laws that are functioning in the world. Right now, there's a law of gravity functioning. That's why you're sitting. If there was no law of gravitation, you'll be all floating. You'll be wondering where the speaker has gone, somewhere there. And you will be here and I'll be there, somewhere in the middle. Be total confusion in this classroom. But everybody is seated in their places because there is a gravitational force. We take it for granted. We don't understand. You're not, okay, you see now. What's making you see? Are my eyes? Are the eyes? Now, oh, I see, okay, what you mean. There is a center in my brain. What triggers those impulses? What makes you register? Apparently, there are several, I don't know, millions of operations in the retina of your eye to be able to register sight. That's one aspect of your personality. How is everything functioning in you? Don't know. How are things functioning in this world? Don't know. But it's all functioning. Seasons roll. Morning dies. You find the noon born. Noon dies, evening born. Evening dies, night born. Night dies, morning born. It'll never get mixed up. You can't wake up and say, oh, I woke up at 6 o'clock and found it's noon. No, you may be in a condition where you don't know the day. Something you drank last night. That is not what we're talking about. But it'll never get mixed up. After morning came evening. No. Morning will move to noon, noon will move to evening, evening will move to night, night will move to morning. That will never change. Who's controlling it? I can go on. The whole class we can talk about this, but we must understand. Wake up. to the fact that there are so many things happening around, maintained for us, we don't know who, we don't know how. Name that is given is God. That's all. But nobody's investigated. Who is God? What is God? Power? Then you say male or female. That's another problem we have. Why do you refer to God as he? Why can't it be she? That's all our problem. But what is this concept? In fact, Swamiji, the last book he wrote was Theses on God. Calls it theses. Because it's up to you to conclude. He only gives you directions. What that truth might be. So here you are. That's what we're going to be discussing. And that is the purpose of your existence. To find out that God principle is your essential nature. Everything else is about you. So the two aspects of Brahman, and then how Brahman manifests itself. In the third topic, vicious do not know or seek Brahman. They're not interested. What are they interested in? Pleasures, material things, physical pleasures, emotional joys, intellectual thoughts and ideologies, and that's it. That's it. That's their life. They're not even curious to know from where did I come? Where am I going? I don't care. I just have this life. Let me enjoy it to its fullest. They do not have the mental stamina to investigate. Look, there is something beyond. Should I not know it? That's why don't take the word literally. It only means that they don't care. Don't care to seek the truth. And then there are 4 virtuous types who worship God, who seek the truth. But then he tells us about these 4 types. Only one of them truly get to the truth. Others are lost again. Though they are virtuous, they still don't get it. And then he says, the deluded seek and gain finite fruit in the world. And finally he says, the wise, if you are sensible, if you're wise, you will want to know what is the purpose of my life here. You will seek and gain the truth. So that's how the chapter goes. Don't go and look for it in your Bhagavad Gita books because it's not there in the original. Like I told you, it's part of the work done by Swamiji. You will find it in Swamiji's commentary. I'm sure it's available here. Now, he's also written a commentary. There are many, many readings of the Bhagavad Gita. You go to a bookshop, you'll find many books. Many people who have written commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. But Swamiji's commentary will contain this. So with this introduction, we'll get on to the first verse of the chapter.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamanah Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathagnyāsyasi Tachrunu Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sattamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathagnyāsyasi Tachrunu.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Blessed Lord said, O Partha, a name for Arjuna, with the mind attached to me, practicing yoga, taking refuge in me, how you shall without doubt know me fully, that you do here. Now, whenever a master uses first person singular, me or I, it means the truth, the reality. See, when we talk, when we say me, you mean this body, this mind, this intellect, this name, this fame, this person. Because that is what you know of yourself. This individuality, this ego, this person. That's what you refer to as me. But when any master worth the name, an enlightened soul, whether it was Christ or Krishna or Muhammad, Buddha, Mahavira, these masters, to name a few, many unknown masters who were enlightened souls, who had reached the truth, who had discovered the truth, found out their essential beings. Now, those masters, when they refer to themselves, when they use the word first person, singular, me, I, they meant the truth, the reality, because they have already lost their individuality and gained the totality. Just as a river has an individuality. You can say this is the Nile, that is the Amazon, this is the Ganges. You can actually identify rivers. But all rivers end their journey where? Sorry? In the ocean, right? They will not stop till they reach the ocean. Now, once they merge with the ocean, what happens? They become one vast sheet of water called the ocean. Thereafter, you can never identify. That is the Nile, this is the Amazon, that's the Ganges. You can never identify any individual river. Why? Because it lost its individuality, it has gained the totality. That is what happens to these masters. Until self-realization, God realization, enlightenment, discovery of your own original stature, you have an individuality. Your name, fame, this, whatever you refer to yourself, that ego functions. So when you say me, you mean this person. But when these masters use the word me, that is why you'll find in the translation, in the book that I'm talking about, Swamiji's commentary, all the me will be in capital, not ordinary me. Why capital? To indicate it is the truth, the reality. So you could well strike off, you can say, with mind attached to the truth, practicing yoga. Yoga doesn't mean breathing techniques and yoga asanas. That's one tiny portion of this great word yoga. Yoga is a Sanskrit word. Its root is yuj. Yuj means to unite, to join. So when they say you need to unite to join, you have moved away from your original self, from your original stature. Any method that you use to get back to yourself is called yoga. So that is why the word yoga is used in a broader sense. You can practice this union with the self through your actions, through your emotions, through your thoughts. All three methods. That is why you have three yogas. Karma yoga, which you use with your body, your actions. Not being selfish and self-centered, but using your actions to discover the self, to truth. That is called karma yoga. When you use your mind and emotions to discover the self, it's called bhakti yoga. When you use your intellect, not to be scholarly, not to show to the world how much knowledge you have, how many scriptures you've read, that you know everything that anybody spoke about. That is just showing your knowledge. You're not using it to show your knowledge to the world, but to discover the truth within. Then it is called, then and then alone, it's called Jnana Yoga. And then practicing yoga, taking refuge in me. What are you doing it for? To discover the self. You shall without doubt know me. Such a person who's intent on discovering the truth will not stop till he gets there. Like the river will not stop till it gets to the ocean. Without doubt know me fully. You shall without doubt know me fully. That do hear. How do you do it? That's what you're going to hear. He continues in the next verse.
Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshatah yajñatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyamya sheshatah yajñatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate.
I will declare to you in full this knowledge together with wisdom, which having known, nothing more here remains to be known. It's complete. Remember we said life is complete with this knowledge. There's nothing more you need to seek once you get this knowledge. But if you're doing anything else in this world, you will keep on seeking and seeking, you will find and find, but there will not be any satisfaction. And you don't have to swallow what I'm saying. Find out. Find out if the most wealthy person is happy. I think it was that SoftBank chairman, Masayoshi Son. He said it is sad to be rich. It's okay for you and me to say something. But one of the richest men in the world, do we have that? You put it, because you won't believe me. I have to Google all these things only to prove to you. It's actually sad to be rich. SoftBank's Masayoshi Son. This is 2nd December 2016. The net worth of Son, who is the second richest person in Japan, is estimated to be more than $17 billion. Being a billionaire and losing 99% of wealth might not make many happy, but SoftBank chief Masayoshi Son feels otherwise, saying such an event helped him feel the joy of work and value of money again. Now, I'm only giving an example. There are many such people. The richest men are not happy. You've heard of Jim Carrey? That you would have heard. That Jim Carrey you'll believe. So he says everybody should become rich and famous. I hope everybody becomes rich and famous, because then you'll know that it's not there. So just to prove to you that, again, if they find it, they'll put it up. It's just to tell you that what are you looking for? You'll never find satisfaction in the world, because that's not where it is. That satisfaction you're seeking is within you, not in the world outside. So here he says, you got to have knowledge and wisdom. So jnanam, you don't have it, it's okay. Jnanam and vijnanam, these are two words. Now what happens is, we'll see what William Cowper says. He says, knowledge dwells in heads replete with thoughts of other men. So you can pick up knowledge from books, from lectures, from attending a university course. You can pick up knowledge. But when you're wise, wisdom in minds attentive to their own. So knowledge dwells in heads replete with thoughts of other men. Wisdom in minds attentive to their own. So wisdom is something which you have. Knowledge is something which you borrow. Now in this verse he says, I will declare to you in full this knowledge of the truth together with wisdom. So it's not just external knowledge. The way this whole knowledge is presented, it makes you contemplative, reflective, meditative, and that will lead you to that ultimate truth, and that wisdom becomes your own. Wisdom is when you live it. Knowledge is when you just have thoughts to share, to talk about. It's not something that is yours. That's what he's trying to say. So which having known, if you gain that wisdom, there's nothing more that remains to be known. You have a complete knowledge, you have a complete life, and you understand and realize the purpose of your existence in this world. He continues.
Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidhyatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vitti tattvataha. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidhyatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vitti tattvataha.
Among thousands of men, scarce one strives for perfection. Of those who strive and succeed, scarce one knows me in essence. So again you have a me here, capital M, if you notice. it means scarce one realizes the truth. So it's a journey that everyone needs to undertake, but it's a goal few achieve. That is why you can't have dozens of Christs and Krishnas and Muhammads and Buddhas. You can't have one for a generation is rare to find, because that journey is not easy. See, even if you want to be the best in your field, even a sportsman, the amount of tapas you have to do. You want to do business successfully, perfect business you want. How difficult would that be? You need to really apply yourself. Now, how many people want to do that? As long as something comes, chalo yaar, it's okay. As long as I have a better car, a better home, better food, better clothes, better accessories, one better holiday, something you have a plan, and you got enough money, just enough to make you do that. Okay, it's enough. Who is striving for excellence in whatever field you are in? Even in the mundane world, we're not striving for anything. It's not easy. That's why you have a few right on top. You have many right at the bottom, because it's easier. There's not so much of effort. Just basics. You want to meet basics. I'm not talking about riches. I'm talking about self-effort. To excel in whatever you do. Even if you're a homemaker, even you're at home, how do you keep your home? Is it clean? Is it perfect? Is everything working in your house? Okay, in your room it may work. In your bathroom it may work. Go to the next room, which you're not using. The tap is not working, and this is leaking, and that latch is not working. This cupboard will not close. That lock will not work. There are a zillion things that are not okay in your own home, which you can see. Forget your home, car. How many things are not working in your car, in your vehicle? I don't know. You got to tell me. How many things are not working in you? Can you use your arms properly? Can you use your legs properly? I'm okay, but of late backache is I'm getting too much of backache. Or it is a neck ache, or a knee trouble. I can't sit, something is malfunctioning all the time. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect ever, but are you striving to correct it, to perfect it, which you can see? You can easily see it. Something is not okay in your room, in your home. How many of us would want to set it right? Let it be there. What difference does it make? You work around it and go. It doesn't bother you. But if you have something, why don't you make it perfect? Too much trouble. It's too much effort. So what he's trying to say is, what is tangible we don't look into. I'm not going to ask you this question, but how many of us are physically fit? No, don't worry, I'm not asking you. Don't look at me like that. But is there a problem to be physically fit? Who's stopping you from being physically fit? Nobody is. Why can't we be physically fit? Too much effort. To eat the right type of food, to sleep in the right time, to exercise. Exercise, terrible. That's the worst thing. Who wants to exercise? Unless the doctor tells you, look, if you don't exercise, you will be in serious trouble. Your blood pressure will go up, your blood sugar will go up, I don't know what will go up. To avoid that too out of fear, then you start working. And there are people who are going for morning walks. Every day I'm going for a morning walk. My doctor has already told me. And then what do? Especially Sunday, all the friends meet. Go for a morning walk. Why? After that we go for idli dosa, Sunday. So you're more interested in idli dosa, Sunday breakfast, than the exercise. Whole week you're exercising so that I can eat properly. And vade also you can have. Once a week it's all right. So it's ultimately not fitness. Why? It's difficult. Anything constructive is difficult. Here he's saying the most advanced experience, the highest experience for a human being is the discovery of the self. So if we can't handle things that we can see, our physical body, our environment, our vehicles, if we can't attend to that, how can we attend to the highest? That's why he says, among thousands of men, scarce one strives for perfection. Of those who strive and succeed, yes, I've got to live this perfect life. Everything around me and in me should be perfect. Not only physical fitness, some people are so beautiful physically, mentally wrecks, total off cases. But physically is so beautiful. Never get close to such people. I mean, if you do, it's at your risk. You're taking a big risk. And don't come and complain. I don't know what. Because one fellow asked, I can't understand how God has made you so beautiful and so stupid at the same time. So the wife said, let me explain. God made me so beautiful that you will be attracted to me. God made me so stupid, so I will be attracted to you. It's all well balanced. So, of all those who strive and succeed, scarce one knows the truth in essence. He continues.
Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yam me bhinna prakritirashtadha Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kham mano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yam me bhinna prakritirashtadha.
Remember we said the two aspects of Brahman. Now we are discussing that two aspects of the truth. So here he says, he declares the eightfold division of this nature, the nature of the truth. What is it? Earth, water, fire, air, space. These are the 5 elements that the whole world is made up of. This whole universe, this whole world is made up of these 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, space. Then when you come to the individual, there is mind, intellect, and also ego. Such is the eightfold division of my prakriti. Prakriti means nature. So whatever you see in the world, you can boil it down to these 5 elements. In fact, not only the world, every individual is constituted of these 5 elements. How do you know? At death, you will see it happening. See what happens. See, take the 5 elements. First thing is the air, you stop breathing, air is gone. Okay. Then your body becomes, once the life goes, body becomes cold, the heat is gone. Then, if the body is kept for a while, the water starts oozing out. Water. Then when you dispose the body, whether you bury the body or you cremate the body, the remains goes back to earth, merges with the earth. Because that's what it is made up of. It will merge. And the space that you occupy as a person is gone back to total space. So these are the 5 elements that everybody is made up of. The whole world, the macrocosm and the microcosm is constituted of these gross elements that you can see. You can experience. But the mind, intellect, and ego, he says that is also matter, prakriti, matter, but subtle matter. Matter is that which can perish, we can change. That is the nature of matter. So whether it's gross matter, the 5 elements that your body is constituted of, or your subtle body constituted of your mind, intellect, and ego. See, why ego? Because you claim your feelings, you claim your ideas. This is the way I feel. This is the way I think. This is the way my body feels. This is my body. You claim it. So though there is the physical body, mind and intellect, there is one claiming element that says, this is mine, that is yours. It differentiates. That is the ego. Everything put together, he says, is the eightfold division. Now this division, he's just stating it here, but in the Atma Bodha, there's a thorough explanation of how the elements in their nascent form it cannot be perceived, subtle matter, and then how when grossified, even these elements that we're talking about, earth, water, fire, air, space, that we can conceive and see, these are the grossified elements. I'm not going to the details, but some of you who are interested, it is explained in the Atma Bodha, a process called Panchikarana. It's a very scientific explanation of what is just stated in this verse. So I'm only assuring you that these are not random thoughts. They're very scientific and can be proved. But for the moment, since we have to study a chapter, we have to understand the chapter. We're not going into further details. I believe you would have seen, did we have the presentation today? Was there so some of you, at least most of you, would have seen the presentation on the Vedanta Academy, which is very close here in Malavli, near Lonavala, where Swamiji has established a school of learning, a place of learning. We started in 1988, more than 30 years now, where we run a 3-year residential course for youngsters. And many of them have graduated, and you'll see them, in all the uniforms that you see. These are the students from the academy. Now they do a 3-year course on these basic texts. And why do we study these texts? There are some of the books written by Swamiji which are introductory. You need that to understand the Bhagavad Gita, to understand the Upanishads. And even the last book I said, the theses on God. See, once you're fully prepared, you've gone through the course of study, then you can investigate. What is this truth? What is this reality? So all that is a preparation for us. So when you have the complete knowledge, now you have a choice after that. You just want to live your life in this world, a sensible life, you can do it. Or you want to discover the truth. If you have the strength and stamina to say, hey look, I've got this life, let me find out what is the purpose of my existence here. I've got to find out, not just lead a routine mechanical life that everybody else is leading. Nothing wrong with it. But there's much, much more a human being can strive for. So that ability you have when you take up this knowledge. That is what we do in the academy. So in there we can afford to spend time and get into these details. But for us here, you should be assured that there is enough evidence, scientific, logical explanation how all this becomes part of Prakriti. And the next verse he says, all this is the lower aspect of the truth. He continues.
अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो य एदं धार्यते जगत् अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्.
This is the lower, verse 4, what we discussed. The 5 elements, the mind, intellect, ego. All that he says is the lower aspect of me. But different from it, O Mahabaho or Arjuna, know my higher Prakriti, the life element by which this universe is supported. So, you remember we said we don't know how many things are going on in this world. We have no clue. The sun rises every morning, sets every evening, the seasons are maintained, the day is maintained. atmospheric pressures maintained, your eyes are functioning, your circulatory system is functioning, your digestive system is functioning, a whole lot of things going on within you and in the world at large. We have no clue who is supporting all these functions, but something is maintaining it. That, he says, is the higher aspect which you don't see. We've taken it for granted. It has to happen. One thing goes wrong with any of your systems and you will be miserable. You can't function normally. But everything is maintained so beautifully because of that life element in you. So, different from the lower, he says, there is this life element by which this world is supported. But you don't see it. It's not manifest as you see other things manifest. You see the sun rising and setting, but you don't see what is enabling it to do so. What is it? Water boils at a particular level. Water freezes at a particular level. How does it happen? But it's meticulous. So we don't see the law of laws. We don't see the controller of all this. And that we must try and project that there is something beyond our immediate cognition which is responsible for all that we are experiencing. Even good and bad, right and wrong, war and peace. We are all experiencing what we call the dvandvas. Dvandvas means pairs of opposites. There is right, there is wrong. There is justice, there is injustice. There is war, there is peace. There is joy, there is sorrow. There is pleasure, there is pain. There is honor, there is dishonor. All these we're experiencing in the world and we get affected. When there's joy, we are happy. When there's sorrow, we are unhappy. When there's pleasure, it's fine. When there's displeasure, we are not comfortable. So these are the ways we get affected because we are here experiencing this. But none of us, or very few of us, seem to be able to x-ray through these dvandvas and see there is something beyond which is enabling all these things to function. You may say, you are making sense, but suddenly you seem to be impractical. Of course we'll see right and wrong, and you want to be unaffected? When you see something wrong, how can you be not affected? When somebody is doing injustice, how do you keep quiet? We are not talking about course of action. We are talking about what happens inside you. Yes, if there is dirt, you need to clear it. But you don't have to see, terrible dirt. Why do you have vijugupsa? Why do you have that terrible feeling? There will be cleanliness, there will be dirt. You have to deal with both. Cleanliness is easy, dirt is not easy. External and internal, both. But you don't have to act because of disgust, because of unhappiness, because of anger, because of hatred. That is what is ruining your peace of mind. And you're not able to do that because you're not able to see beyond the pairs of opposites. So, there's a beautiful way of dealing with it. How do you deal with wickedness? When we say wickedness, anything that is not right. And there are plenty of things not right in this world. And if you say, no, that's what the world has become so bad today, so bad, you have no idea. Excuse me, what was happening in Mahabharata war? Draupadi was derobed in public. Public means in the Sabha. When? Under Krishna's nose, in Krishna's time. Christ was crucified. Socrates was given a poison. When has there been a time in the history of the world when there has been only good or only bad? From the time you go back, trace back history, there's always been a mixture of the two. Good and bad, right and wrong. Christ could not change it, Krishna could not change it, Muhammad could not change it, nobody could change it. Buddha, Mahavira, none of the masters could ever bring only good. They had a great influence on humanity for a period of time. But that didn't balance the world. The world is nothing but dvandvas. Understand that. But how do you deal with it? Morris Matterlinks tells us, very simply he tells us. He says, happy and blessed hour, when wickedness stands forth revealed as goodness bereft of its guide. How about that? He says, you are happy and blessed hour means you will be peaceful. You will be happy. When? When you are able to see wickedness as goodness without a guide. It's not easy, I know. Anything good is difficult. Anything bad, feel anger, very easy. I don't have to tutor you. Automatically you'll be angry. Even at good things you'll be angry. Why did you cook good food? It should be vade. You want junk food. Anybody giving you healthy food you don't like. I don't like to eat at home because it's very healthy. I like to go and eat out. Anything good you're not... exercise, I don't like exercise. I like to laze in bed. You don't need tutoring for all that. It's so easy to be wrong. It's so difficult to be right. That's the paradox in life that we have to figure out as humans. No animal has this problem. Only humans. If everything right was easy, how nice. If everything wrong was difficult, we don't need Bhagavad Gita, you don't need the philosophy. But everything that is right is difficult. Everything that is wrong is so easy. And that is why we have to learn to be strong within and guide ourselves to doing things that are beneficial to us and the world. And that will help you live a sensible life. So that's what he's saying. That attitude should be, you don't hate anybody. It's like, you don't hate a tiger to be ferocious. You're a horrible animal. What? Tigers are ferocious animal. Oh, beautiful creature. But will you go anywhere near it? Snake is so poisonous. A king cobra, one drop of that poison, you're dead. Oof, what poison, what potency. Terrific poison. What a beautiful creature. But you don't realize that king cobra is waiting for you to get home. Waiting for you in the house. You go home. Waiting. Why? Anything you speak good things. Bhagavad Gita class, is it? Since when have you interested in Bhagavad Gita? Who did you go to meet there? Bhagavad Gita class I went. Even if you go to Mandir or Bhagavad Gita, there must be something wrong with you. Something has happened. Who was there? I'm coming tomorrow to find out who is coming to there. What are you so interested in Bhagavad Gita suddenly? Actually, it could be happening. I don't know how many of you are meeting somebody here. But you will master peace, that poison. Even if you do something good, that poison must come out of that person. What a beauty, what a beauty. But when it comes to human beings, we have become intolerant. But we're able to accept this with relation to other creatures. So he says, you must understand that different from all that you see is that which enables all these aspects of nature to come to life. Because matter by itself has no life, but there is a living principle that enables matter to come to life. That is the higher aspect, the living element.
एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणि त्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणि त्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा.
Know this to be the womb of all beings. I am the origin and the dissolution of the whole universe. So this lower and higher aspects combine together to make this universe function. And he says it acts like the warp and woof. A cloth is solid because the strings are woven together. By itself is just cotton, just strings of cotton, threads. But you have a solid seeming cloth, solid cloth, because of the combination. By itself it has no strength, but when it combines, there's something solid, like a piece of cloth. Similarly, this world is solid seeming of things and beings, of right and wrong, all that you're experiencing. It's so solid, it's so real. But actually, it is this combination which creates this solidarity called the world. So he says, know this combination to be the cause of what you are seeing, a manifest world. I am, when Krishna is using I am, it does not mean the personality Krishna, but the reality, the truth, the ultimate purpose of human life which we have to yet discover. That truth, I am, and that I am, that truth is the origin and the dissolution of the whole universe. So this is best understood with examples. So if you give some relative examples, you will understand. For example, you see the ocean has waves on the surface. So when you sit on the shore, you see the play of waves. Isn't it constant? It never dies. It'll never stop. The waves will never stop. They come one after the other continuously. Some waves are big, some waves are small. Some waves are gentle, some waves are fierce. They're all types of qualities or waves that are constantly rising and falling, rising and falling, rising and falling. From where do these waves come from? How are they generated? It is because of the vastness of the ocean, the substratum which is the ocean, upon which you see a play of waves. Now suppose you're fascinated by the waves and you say, I want to see these waves in my own home. So what do? Take a bucket, go to the ocean, fill it with the water of the ocean, come back home to see the waves. Not possible. Why? It is that vastness of the sheet of water that is responsible for the play of waves on the surface. You can't create that. It is created because of that vastness. That's why he says, this is the womb, this warp and woof, the lower and higher aspects playing together creates this solid seeming world. The truth, from where did all this come from? From that truth, from that reality. So when the wave is born, you can't say the ocean is born. When the wave dies, you can't say the ocean died. So, but what is the wave? When the wave is born, what is it constituted of? Water. When it maintains itself, what is the wave? Water. When it dissolves, what does it become? Water. But we see the wave, we don't see the water content at all. We see things and beings different from each other. The right, the wrong, the good, the bad, the dvandvas we see. But we don't see from where did it all originate. Where is it all going? We have no understanding of that. And that's what this whole chapter is talking about. You get the knowledge of the truth. You understand the truth. You digest the truth, you assimilate the truth, it becomes part of you, wisdom. It's like food digested gives you strength. See, you may have the best of food, but first of all, you've got to consume it to be strong. Then what do? Just putting it in your mouth? No. You have to chew it. Then it digests. You digest the food. Just because you swallow the food, it can be thrown out of your system, undigested. You still don't get strength. You've consumed the food, it's thrown out of your system, you don't have strength. In fact, you become weaker if it's not digested and thrown out. So, you take in the food, you digest the food, it is assimilated into your system. When it is assimilated, it converts into physical strength. Similarly, these thoughts are given to you. It's just pieces of information. By listening to that, by the time you go out, it is thrown out of your system. It's gone. We are expecting that. Don't feel bad. That is why you may have to come back another 3 days if you want to retain a little more. If you're not interested in retaining, very nice seeing you and we don't see you again. That's okay. But if you've picked up a little bit of knowledge, information, but if you stay with this knowledge, if you think about it, if you reflect upon it, that is the process of digestion. You're thinking about it. You're chewing into it. And then it lasts, it stays for a while. Otherwise, you forget it. You go to the next. What is for dinner? Or we're going for a movie, or we're going out, finished. Bhagavad Gita is gone. This knowledge, wisdom has stayed in this hall. But if you stay with it, it lasts. You think about it until it becomes a part of you. Then it converts into internal strength. That is wisdom. Once you are strong internally, you become wise. Thereafter, you know how to live your life. I did say in the beginning, even to live your life in this world, you need this knowledge. Leave alone finding the truth and the purpose of your life. If you have a little more patience, 3 more evenings, we'll try and go through this chapter. Thank you very much.